Two on the bed, it's hard to wake up on the wrong side. Light skin to my right, on my left, I drop. Nah. She asked me where I'm going, told her gotta go make a matter of fact. Man, what it is, YouTube? It's your boy 808, feel me? I'm back with another video. I'm back with a bang. I ain't gonna lie, this video is kind of different. This is a financial literacy type of video. I'm over here with.
Alright, yo guys, man, I'm Snyder Gene. I'm the CEO of Black Market Luxury, which is a company out of South Florida. We're office here. We just opened an office in LA that provide high luxury cars to clients. Everybody you can think of, from Kim Kardashian, every famous person you can think of with their business hub. We provide yachts, jets, you name it. I also own 53 tax offices. Alright, and I also own Gorgeous Vodka. And one of my newest products that everybody been raving about is New World Testing. That's going live to get tested for the coronavirus within 5 minutes. Essentially, the way the app works, once you log in, it picks up your location. It tells you your nearest testing center to get tested. So it makes the process easier for you to get tested. So today we're going to be talking about real estate, books to read, and how to get to this bag in 2020 and finish it with a bang. Alright guys, my Instagram is Snyder Business. Once you go to Snyder Business page, you will see all the links to my other pages. Go there, follow, and give them some likes. So I started very young. I came here when I was 3, and my parents, as you know, are from Haiti. They didn't have a lot of resources. So in return, I started working early. By the age of 13, I started cutting grass, and I had 6 employees. We used to cut grass every Sunday, every Friday, every Saturday. Then from there, at the age of 16, I started a company called Buyers Checkout, which I eventually was acquired by Yellow Pages. At 18 years old, I started my first real business, a tax business. By the age of 20, I had 3 tax offices. By the age of 24, I had 17 tax offices. At 25, I was incarcerated, went to jail for a few years, came out, dead broke. Started all this journey 5 years ago. So if y'all guys that just started your journey, understand that in life you will get obstacles, but you will fall and get back up. So when I came out of jail, my first 2 weeks I actually went in front of Home Depot, and I made enough money. From there I was able to hustle, get a car, and did Uber for 3 months, made $36,000. From there I was able to build a company from scratch. And from there I was able to stand in front of stores, build companies. So don't let people laugh at your dreams, so keep chasing them. Patience. Right, so understand that in anything you do in life, you gotta have patience. So if you rush it, you're gonna fail, right? What I always tell people is no matter what you do, get good mentor. So if I'm building a house, right, I gotta find a great land. Once I find the land, right, I get me a great architect. The architect then tell me how to build on the land. Then I go get a construction company to help me build it, right? So there's different steps you take, right? You don't skip no steps. So a lot of people, when they start a business, they skip steps, right? They don't do the proper steps. So down the line, the business is so shaky, it can't sustain any hits. So because they didn't start in the beginning with the proper steps, right?
Just went from step 1 to step 5.
Right? So when you do that, you fail. And you also lose a ton of money, right? So also learning how to choose what partner to bring on board, what employee to bring on board. The wrong employee, the wrong partner will make you lose money. To start, when I started Black Market Luxury, from Kim Kardashian to Bill Gates, the other people use it, right? The funny thing is actually being in front of clubs, in front of restaurants. When I came out of jail, people used to be laughing at me, right? So after I worked for Uber for 3 months, Uber found out I was a felon, they fired me. So now I got bills, I gotta pay rent. So I used to put a suit on. I used to work from the Prom 112. As people come out of Prom 112 and say, hey guys, you need a driver? Then I create an app that will track, just like Uber, when you get in my car, from Prom 112 to wherever I take you. Then from there I start, once I leave Prom 112, I go to every club. From there I build a whole company. From meeting Victor Oladipo to Shamar Moore, became a good friend of mine. Matter of fact, the first night he met me, I became his driver. He gave me $3,500 before I was just, because they like the vibe I did. So I was able to get him every club, in and out. So I built a relationship with everybody. So I built a whole company from there.
Can you tell the viewers what are the legal steps to starting a business?
Alright, so when you start a business, right, there's different entities you could do. You could do what they call sole proprietorship, where it's just under your name, right, under your own social. You take all the liability under the business. So if you own a real estate property and you get sued, all the liability comes under your name. So now if you own an LLC, right, you're not liable, the LLC is. So if your property is owned by the LLC and somebody fall, they only could sue the LLC, not you. But when it comes to tax purposes, the LLC, you file it on your regular tax return, which is a 1040, right? Then you have what they call an S corp, right? S corp, if me, him, and another buddy of mine go start a corporation, then we take all the profit and all the loss within our own tax return. Then you have what they call a C corp, right? A C corp is considered the best corporation to start. The reason why is less likely to get audited by the IRS, and also protects you better because it files its own taxes, its own entity, and uses its own employee. So the corporation will pay you a check as a CEO. The same way people will hear about people like Steve Jobs and others were getting fired from a company they started, right? It was a corporation. They worked for the corporation, which they eventually sold shit to the public. So for example, right? Essentially, let's say you start your company, go be a production company, right? You need more money, you need more capital. So you have to go to the stock market. So you go into a NASDAQ, they come in and do an overview of your books and see if you qualify, right? So to raise capital. So they have two different funds you could get. You could get, there's two different stocks you could sell. Private stocks, or, right, general stocks. General stocks is the one that everybody could buy, right? Private stocks of the NASDAQ, you could buy from any apps and things like that, right? Private stocks is usually founders of the company and things of that nature. You could buy privately. For example, the guy for Facebook that did the graffiti for Facebook. Facebook could have paid him, right? So Facebook instead gave him private shares. When Facebook went public, his shares was worth $87 million. Everybody needs a passion. Once you determine that passion, then you have everything. It could be your kids, it could be anybody. Learn your passion. My passion is to give back. I done fed over 2 million people. From prison, I have fed 15,000 people with my own commissary money that I was hustling from prison. You could give back no matter where you at. Life is, we was here to nourish the earth. But some of us are just living, but we forgot our purpose. Once we find our purpose, then we become LeBron James. Then we become those inspiring people. As you can see, I read a lot of books, right? If y'all guys ever want to read, right, there's some books I would recommend. Okay. Tony Robbins, Money Mastering the Game. You won't be disappointed. You won't be. Alright, then you come over here. Alright, then one of my favorite, a lot of my books I give away every day because I get a few every month. And some of my favorite I keep. Make Today Counts. I try to read this at least once a week. It's by John C. Maxwell. It's about 2-3 hours if you're a fast reader. John C. Maxwell is one of the best writer of motivational books in the world, and for me, one of the top motivational speaker in the world. Also, How to Win and Influence People. All right, another one of my favorite. So if you're in business, definitely gotta read this. It's by John C. Maxwell. So as you can see, this one's rough. I like to read it a lot. Good leaders ask great questions. A lot of people that works for me for years. The reason why I tend to ask all my employees some of the key questions that affect them. So when you figure a way to connect with people, right? It could be your employee, it could be your friends. You figure out how to connect with them, then you can become good leaders. They will become good followers and eventually become good leaders. David Allen, making it all work. So for you that have a difficulty when figure out life could bring you different obstacles when it comes to business, when it comes to life, it's a great book to read. I have a lot more books. I buy this a lot and I give away a lot.
That's a good book.
So I give this a lot to a lot of people. Rich Dad Poor Dad. Kind of give you a basics of the difference between, liability and assets, right? So assets could be you buying that car you think everybody gonna like you for, but as soon as you leave up the lot with it, right, it worth nothing, right? Or assets, that's a liability. Assets is you buy an apartment complex that you later own that could then bring you residential income that you could then pay to keep living on for the rest of your life. So it teach you the difference. For one example, I bought my daughter a boat for $84,000, right? So in the last 3 months, in August, the boat did 16,000. In July it did 23,000, and for the Labor Day weekend did 8,000 of an investment I did for 84,000. Even after making all that money off the boat, I could turn around, upgrade it, paint it, and sell it for 120,000. So always think about more for the future. And I could have bought a Rolex, right? But now I bought a yacht. Now the same yacht could turn around, buy me 10 Rolex in 1 year, right? Or Rolex can't buy you a Rolex in 10 Rolex.
And even if you buy a like something that's liable, like a car, you could rent it out to people.
Correct. So a lot of my money is rental, but it was in my personal. So for example, you could buy a Ferrari and rent that for $1,000 a day, but your Ferrari costs $3,200 a month, right? But if you rent that 10 times a month, now you're making $6,000 a month profit.
And you paying for the note, so you're basically not paying for anything.
Correct.
So you have the car for free, basically.
Correct. So that's what I did for a long time with a lot of my cars until I got a few of mine I don't rent out personally.
You can't walk a mile in my shoes, you would've been folded. I just made a couple plays in my all-white forces. I just poured me up some lean, had to double up my cup. My dog said you the next to blow, but you the chosen one.